Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan with the Chart Guys. We're going to check in on the markets here as we have more rotation taking place with semiconductors dropping, NVDA confirming a daily rising wedge, IWM new all-time highs, and benefiting from that rotation. We've also got some highly volatile names in quantum computing to check in on. Let's get to the charts. Hey everyone, the Chart Guys are running a 10th year anniversary Black Friday sale for access to our chat room community and our live streams. I'm going to be live streaming on Monday in 2025 after taking a bit of a break this past year. Superstack indicator is included. We'll talk about what that is in a webinar here in just a bit where I do a bit of an unboxing of what that membership is. And if you're new, an orientation call with this jerk. But can sincerely say that this chat room has changed my life with the amount of information and knowledge that I've learned from everybody that participates. And we'd love to see you there. Check the comments for a link to the Black Friday deal or a link to the webinar. So S&P 500 all-time high test this morning. We had a little bit of a gap up in futures and we failed. But as we know, the most important line in the sand level for me for full bull control is where we just came from. And as long as you don't break that level, bulls are just fine. So possible we tighten up here. But unless there's very high bear volume, I'll look for a daily higher low to be the result of any pullback from here. And again, it's the holiday week, no trading Thursday, half day Friday, expecting things to slow down Wednesday. So may not get a whole lot of information for the rest of the week, but we can see the clear rotation still ongoing. The NASDAQ is weaker than the S&P 500. We didn't get up to test the all-time high. Potential daily lower high is forming here. Same deal. Got to break that low if the bears are going to prove anything. And I've been liking this 4-hour channel that I've been keeping an eye on the NASDAQ futures chart. We rejected from that this morning, trying to bounce off of it here at the low of the day. But just a nice channel, and if it breaks bear, the daily lower high is set, but we won't set the daily lower high unless it breaks bear. So keeping an eye on that channel. The reason the NASDAQ is weaker is the most significant reason is semiconductors. So SMH is still a possible daily bear flag right now. And we're looking down at its recent low of 237.39. As I mentioned, NVDA, that daily rising wedge, is breaking bear. We're hitting the lowest level in a few weeks. And next major level is down at 132.11. We know losing the daily uptrend is a check mark for the bears, but we must confirm the daily downtrend as the result of the next bounce. That's one thing that all year the bears have been unable to do. They've had some nice moves, and I'm generalizing with the whole market right now. They have some nice moves to the downside, but they don't follow through with confirming trends. So when we bottom and bounce, do we confirm a daily downtrend for follow through or not? That's the next bit of information we're looking for NVDA. But inside bar bear break first thing. We need to be keeping an eye on this rising wedge into the start of this week, and the relative weakness in the semiconductors continues to be clear. IWM, consistent relative strength. It's standing out so glaringly to us because for the majority of the year, IWM was relative weakness and SMH was relative strength. And that has shifted significantly here. And, is this towards the end potentially taking place, towards the end of a euphoria market? Maybe. A lot of people look at dash to trash with growth in the weakest things getting their rotation. But I love the fact that, I watch all these different markets right now. Bitcoin is rotating into altcoins. Crypto stocks, MSTR leader is rotating into the weaker crypto stocks like MARA, the miners, and you've got semis rotating into growth. So there's this massive wave of capital flowing around across markets, and it's just really fun to observe if you are a market nerd. And again, one way to visualize it is with our charts. If we look at IWM divided by SMH, we can see that we are currently at the strongest that we've been since February. So it's essentially 9-month highs of relative strength. And we've just been watching this, it started and then we just tightened up for months and months. And now the last month, it is very clear that that is what is taking place. Semis to growth. So what does that mean? How do I utilize that information? Well, I don't want to be looking long NASDAQ names right now. I want to be looking long IWM names and buying consolidation there. And it can also mean if I want to hedge my IRA and my portfolio, my largest holding is SPY. If I hedge it with SOXS, bearish semis, or SQQQ, bearish NASDAQ, then that potentially gives, I've been doing that. And over the last couple of weeks, there's been multiple times where my SPY has been up and my SQQQ has been up as well on the same day. So that is how I approach when I recognize relative strength and weakness. Is just shifting my focus. Where do my eyes go? All right, I'm looking long over here now. I'm looking short over here now. And NVDA was a top watch as a bear to start this week, and it's following through nicely, at least initially. So IWM had a beautiful back test of previous resistance, now support, this previous wall that we couldn't get over, and we went right off of it, V-shaped to all-time highs. We're going to look for a daily higher low to be the result of next consolidation, and now we've got a weekly uptrend guide on IWM. We've been setting weekly higher lows ever since this was the August sucker punch, but just these higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low. Absolutely nothing changes if weekly EMA 12 is support and we keep forming weekly higher lows. So IWM getting some attention. XBI is benefiting as well. I traded this bounce on XBI. When was my last video here? Monday? Anyways, played this oversold bounce, exited the last of my position today. I exited some on Friday, exited a little on Thursday. Just more than I anticipated, straight V-shaped bounce, 50% plus. The reason I played this bounce was because we were at some 4-hour extremes. I thought the headline reaction was overdone, but I like the game, so I'm all out for now. And maybe I'll be interested in a daily higher low from here, especially if IWM continues to show us relative strength. Because again, XBI goes along with IWM, along with a lot of other individual names. So that is going to be some of my focus. Tesla. So I have a Tesla swing position. I added to it on Friday when we got a clear bull break of this sideways range, but I may stop out of my ad. I got a break even on that ad at 342, and we double topped with the high of Friday first thing this morning, and it's been relative weakness ever since. And so again, no red flags because our last daily higher low was 309s. So anything above that keeps the daily uptrend going. We may have to pull back and form another daily higher low. But if I'm going aggressive into a bull break and we don't get much follow through, I can then just say, nah, I don't want to be aggressive anymore. I'll go back to my normal position size that has a break even under 309 after taking some partial profit. And that would just make me more comfortable. And so that's essentially putting the risk on and saying, all right, let's go, recognizing a little bit of short-term red flag, and then potentially hopping back out. We'll see how it goes. But I pretty much consider this a double top. We broke the high of Friday by 40 cents, which is absolutely nothing. But bigger picture, again, if the broader market stays strong, I'm looking for a Tesla new all-time high. We'll have to see weekly consolidation eventually, but that's something I'm keeping an eye on. XLF, all-time high, bulls in complete control. No red flags whatsoever. We had a weekly bull flag into a daily bull flag and just all-time highs. And we know IWM benefits when XLF is strong because the financial sector is the largest sector holdings in IWM. And so we have a new line in the sand. Bulls have complete control if 49.30 is support. The weakest major sector remains XLV. It got hit with RFK Jr. news along with the biotech sector. So we're scouting a daily lower high. And again, we have to see some kind of sign that a monthly higher low is shaping up here. Weekly bounce is underway, but it's been a clear weekly downtrend for a few months at this point. And so there's been rotation out of healthcare going on for a few months. I'm going to keep an eye. Does that rotation come back a bit? But again, I don't trade the healthcare sector. For me, it's just an important puzzle piece when analyzing the most important components of the S&P 500 as a whole. So now some of these insane names. So quantum computing. And this is the part of late stage euphoria where money grows on trees and people throw money at anything. It doesn't matter about valuations. This company has slim to no revenue. It's all about the name and the future potential and all that. But temporary top. But again, insane gains. And congrats to the bulls, but 800% in 2 weeks. So again, this is just another sign of euphoria in the markets. And it's not just one name. It's QBTS is the other one. Just shooting up, not as massively, but 100% plus in a few days. IONQ is the leader of the space. It hit a new all-time high today, but pulling back a bit. And again, it just looks like this sector is overdone. And I was shorting QUBT today. Didn't leave a runner, but I will be scouting an hourly lower high to be the result of the next bounce. Then we'll look for hourly oversold to scout a daily high or low. We have SMR, uranium name, gap up to all-time highs, but a bearish engulfing. So these names that have been running for some time now, looking potentially temporary toppy. But again, just daily uptrend, daily EMA 12 guide. Nothing changes if that is support. And even Bitcoin, which has just been going straight up, is giving some signs of some short-term exhaustion here, finally pulling back on the daily. So just the names that have been running really hard, pulling back a bit. No major red flags, but again, just want to ensure that we're not chasing into euphoria and skipping our stop losses. Dollar, daily uptrends our guide. We did just get to many month highs, multiple year highs. Yeah, multiple year highs. And bears are hoping that it's a break with no follow through and that we go right back to being range bound on the monthly. Bulls barely held support, but they did, and then they broke resistance, but still a sideways channel. Daily uptrend is our guide. Gold had a beauty bounce, daily lower high set there. Bulls have to confirm the daily uptrend still. That is a big bear candle, and silver was real weak as well. Silver's potentially confirming a head and shoulders into more significant consolidation. We started the morning just at resistance, hard rejection. So still no sign of a monthly high or low there. But gold and silver, keeping an eye out. But again, gold just had 9-month stair step in a row. So got to see that rotation and flow of capital going elsewhere. Keep an eye on natural gas. You know me, I don't like natural gas at all, but it is a weekly falling wedge. This is UNG. Oftentimes you'll see rising wedges, then shape up head and shoulders, and falling wedges, then shape up inverse head and shoulders. And so that's one here where if we fail 1680, we'll be watching for this to be an inverse head and shoulders to try and put in a longer term bottom. I may be interested, but only if it were that setup. I would need to fail 1680 and then try and scout that higher low. And that's what I did with CCJ on the daily. It was an inverse head and shoulders for the weekly higher low. And my mindset was, I entered somewhere. Nope, I entered on this day. I said, that's either the right shoulder forming or I'm wrong. And my stop then goes under there. And so it would be the same thing. Enter on the shoulder. That's either the shoulder or I'm wrong. Exit if it's not. So overall, in this market environment, again, it's just shifting my focus for my shorter term trades. I'm all out XBI now, keeping an eye on my Tesla swing, keeping an eye on a CCJ swing. But for the most part, I'm as we head in towards the end of the year, pumping the brakes a little bit where, it's been a great year. If I don't make another dollar, that's fine. I don't want to give back my gains. Still doing some day trading with all these volatile names, but definitely taking it a bit easy. And certainly this week with, we had MSTR volatility end last week. We were shorting it on this big gap over 500. We'll see if it rolls over, but still plenty of day trading volatility out there. Just taking it a bit slower. Check out the Black Friday deal in the webinar. Appreciate you watching. Thanks as always for the likes and shares and support. Keep an eye on that IWM rotation. How much follow through do we get? How does hourly oversold mark the next daily high or low for our back burners? We know when back burners are working that's the sign of the strongest trend that you can have. And so IWM bulls want to see that happen as a result of next consolidation. See you next time. Do good things. I dare say that? Do them anyway.